Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch, and the hit game Slay the Spire, well, its sequel is officially being made using the Godot game engine. And the most interesting part of the story is how we got here. So how did we get here? Well, going back to September the 12th, Unity set itself on fire. Now, this was absolutely one of the worst self-inflicted losses in the history of game development, or development. They tried to impose this new runtime fee. This was retroactive to all people that ever used Unity ever, where they wanted 20 cents per install. So every time someone installed your game, they wanted 20 cents. Now, if you used Unity Pro and you made over $1 million, it went down. And if it became millions of copies, it went down to 2 cents per install. But this was just an extra fee out of nowhere for every game ever made. It was insane that they tried to do this, and probably illegal if you really went through it. But let's just say developers were not happy about this. There was a massive developer revolt, and among those developers was MegaCrit. MegaCrit is the creator of Slay the Spire, and this entire tweet is pretty important to read. MegaCrit team has been hard at work these past 2 years on a new game. Unlike Slay the Spire, the engine we have developed it in is Unity. So they were making the Slay the Spire 2 sequel in Unity. They had 2 years of work underway. Retroactive pricing structure of the runtime fee is not only harmful in a myriad of ways to developers, especially indies, it is also a violation of trust. We believe Unity is fully aware of this, seeing as they've gone so far as to remove their terms of service from GitHub. Despite the immense amount of time and effort our team has already poured into development of our new title, we will be migrating to a new engine, and the key part, unless the changes are completely reverted and terms of service protections are put in place. We have never made a public statement before. This is how badly you bleeped up. So that was MegaCrit's public statement there. 3.7 million views. This was a big deal, and this was not alone. There was a lot of companies that came out and said something about this, and then Unity actually walked back the fees quite a bit. They realized just how much they screwed up. They changed the revenue thresholds, made it much more reasonable, but there is still a revenue share, and MegaCrit, true to their word, said, yeah. So in the next month, so this was the follow-up, the changes that Unity announced to their structure was on September the 22nd. And then on October the 16th, we got this article from MegaCrit, one of their developers. They did a 3-week internal game jam, so basically right away, to evaluate how MegaCrit would work with the Godot game engine. So they basically created an auto-battling card game to see what the process of developing in Godot is like compared to Unity. They used the C# programming language, and they created this entire game. They walked through the strengths and weaknesses of working with Godot, things they ran into, things they liked, things they did not like, and so on. I would highly recommend reading this article. It's actually very interesting. But this was MegaCrit more or less evaluating the Godot game engine to see if they could make their game in it. And they actually even released it. So if you want to go ahead and check this game out, it's available right here. All of the details are available there. If you want to go ahead and check it out, you can do so. So this was the game jam game they created in C# using the Godot game engine to see if they could move from Unity to Godot. And then we really heard nothing else about this, to be honest. They did, however, become a supporter. So there are a number of companies that support the development fund for the Godot game engine. You head on down here, you're going to find another one that came about of that whole thing. The creators of Terraria, they gave a huge donation to Godot, also to Monogame and FNA. So they made large donations in support of all the indie developers that were being disrupted by Unity. But you'll notice also here, MegaCrit became a gold sponsor and still remains a gold sponsor of the Godot game engine. So they put their money where their mouth is, and they worked on this project to port their game over. Well, we just found out they did. So this was a game that was 2 years in development using the Unity game engine, and they decided, nope, next version is going to be built with the Godot game engine. So there was this article from IGN, officially retweeted by Godot. So Slay the Spire was announced yesterday as part of the III show or whatever for indie games. And yeah, in this article, it is now official that this is now using the Godot game engine. So Slay the Spire 2, officially announced, won't be in Unity. So if you've never heard of Slay the Spire before, it basically created an entire new card building genre of indie games. They actually have a neat quote down here about how even in early access, so first released in 2019, earned itself a large fan base with its innovative combination of roguelike mechanics, turn-based combat, deck building. In our original review, we wrote, Slay the Spire encourages experimentation, gives you time to make mistakes, and will challenge you immensely as you navigate your way floor to floor of entertaining puzzle-like roguelike fights. It's an idea so good that it inspired a dozen games like it before it even left early access, but is executed so well, none of them even come close to matching it. And then the key part for game developers anyways, is notably MegaCrit was one of the developers to vocally condemn Unity's short-lived install fee policy, threatening to migrate to a new engine unless Unity's changes were completely reverted. A MegaCrit representative confirmed that Slay the Spire 2 has since fully migrated off of Unity and will instead use Godot, a free and open source cross-platform engine. So that was 106 that came about. There was a whole lot of developers that said, this is it, we're out of here. And now we're starting to see, game development cycles aren't immediate. So this is a game that's actually coming out in early access sometime in 2025. So the damage from the Unity runtime fallout, we're starting to see it now. This is when games are being ported over to other environments. And again, your portfolio of games as a game engine are super important. So this is definitely a big win for the Godot game engine, that they're going to have this marquee title that they can point to and say, yep, that's a Godot game. By the way, you might be interested to know the original Slay the Spire was actually written with another one of my favorite game engines / frameworks, and that is libgdx. So this was originally a libgdx game for the first version, which is, by the way, Java-based. I am still a big fan of libgdx. Libgdx is a big part of the reason why this channel actually exists. I started off doing tutorials for it, at least on YouTube. So that was a big part of the initial success of Gamefromscratch was libgdx, and libgdx was used to create the original Slay the Spire. So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. So about a year ago, Unity made, well, not quite a year, close to a year ago, so 7-8 months ago, Unity made a really big mistake. And that mistake, the results are starting to show up today. And that big one is Slay the Spire 2, coming 2025, is created using the Godot game engine. Big win for Godot, big loss for Unity. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.